all things are possible. So much I could learn from a financial standpoint, from a faith-based standpoint. Let's get into our financial reset, our stewardship reset. I'm going to bring a lot of value to you today. If I had one lesson that I could teach everyone in the world, everyone in America who didn't have a financial plan, who didn't have a financial system, today's lesson is the lesson I would teach. This lesson, this system, this framework is actually what changed my financial life. I remember early in my financial journey, young family, 4 children, family of 6. My wife was at the time managing our finances. She was a PhD student at Cal Berkeley. I was working, making the income. And we would just butt heads all the time about where the money was going, what it should be spent on. So the plan that we went over yesterday, that will help any relationship just bring clarity, bring unity in the decision making. But this deal right here that we're going to talk about today, this is the actual operating system you need that really, really brings the results. It really, really gives you the tool, like I call it the operating system, that you need to really make sure your household. So we're going to start out with the household first. A lot of times people want to jump into the investing. How do I make more money? How do I flip my money? All those things are important. But if you don't have a solid foundation, if you don't have your household structure of how your finances at the foundational level are being managed, then all the other investing, all the other things you're going to try to do, you'll hit here and there, but ultimately you won't get to the place, to the destination that you are trying to accomplish. So again, if I had one lesson to teach, this is it. The operating account. Building your financial control center. So this account is one of the accounts in the 7 account framework, but this is the hub. So let's get to it. But here's what I expect you to take away from today: understanding the operating account. I want you to fully understand the framework, how it works. Then it will help you eliminate that financial uncertainty, that feeling of where did my money just go? We're going to get rid of that. Prevent overdrafts and finance fees. This is a big deal for people on their financial journey. And I'm going to talk about why this is such a big problem for us today. As I work with clients, as I work with individuals, teach these types of courses within the community, I find there's one thing that people do that causes chaos in their life. And this is the antidote for that. So we're going to continue to design your system, and then we're going to build this thing out actually today. Let's get it going. Proverbs 21:5. This is one of my favorites, and I'll read it from you from the New International. The plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty. If you actually read the Bible from a blueprint of lifestyle, of how to manage your life, it cuts across not just the spirituality. That's my big knock with church. We tend to deal with salvation as the exclusive purpose of the Bible. Salvation is critically important. I'm not undermining that. But once I'm saved, how do I live? How do I manage my money? That is how I like to use the Bible as an instructional manual for how we manage our money, how we live our lifestyle, how we build relationships. All those things are critically important for your day to day. Now, in Nehemiah, there's a story about the rebuilding of the wall of Israel at the time. This is Old Testament, of course. So Nehemiah was basically got the conviction to rebuild the wall. And that's the context that this is set under. But I'm going to kind of extract that out of that context and apply it to us who are rebuilding our financial lives, building in structure, building in security. Any point in your financial journey is a great place to start rebuilding. So let's get the foundation in place. Let's get you the tools and information you need, and let's build this thing together. So, what's the big idea for today? I'm going to set a context here. What I've learned from this journey is numbers that we think are small numbers. If we look at this thing from a macro level, from a national level, there's a lot of statistics that talk about most American families, if they just had an extra 500 bucks, 500 bucks at the end of the month, they would be living in a more comfortable situation. They will be able to meet more needs. So I'm going to just bring this down to that basic level. Most financial chaos, some of it comes from overspending, but most of it comes from our lack of awareness. We just don't know where our money is, where it's going, and what commitments we've made. So we're going to superimpose this scenario on us today. It's Thursday. I've got $847 in my account. All right. And I'm feeling comfortable. I got a few dollars. I could have some good lunch. I can go to Starbucks if I want. All the things that we usually think about. Now, let's progress into this scenario. So I'm good to go. I'm feeling good. It's Thursday, feeling okay. Got that 847 bucks. But then let's fast forward to tomorrow. I forgot. It's the 11th. I'm paying it a little late, but I've got my rent on auto pay. If I pay it before the 15th, I'm good, right? Most of us with mortgages and different things, we have that option. So what happens on Friday? $1,200 gets auto drafted out of my account. I'm now in the negative. I can't buy lunch. I can't buy all the things I was going to do to celebrate my Knicks win and enjoy my Friday. Has this ever happened to you? Have you ever thought that you had some money in the bank, thought that your card would go through when you make that purchase, and then it gets denied, and you quickly pull up your banking app on your phone, only to find out, oh man, I forgot about that auto draft. And immediately you say to yourself, I hate auto drafts. They suck. They're just ruining my life. That's how most of us think. We blame external factors when internally we should have known how much money was available to us in our account. So, what's the big problem here? The problem is we're flying blind. I see this a lot with people. They have one checking account and they say, Lionel, I got this one checking account. Everything comes out of there, my bills. When I go spending, I save all my money in there. If someone asks me for something, I'll give out of that account. All I need is one checking account. I keep it simple. I'm able to track it on my phone. That's all I need. But you're flying blind. Those subscriptions, any bills you've put on auto pay, and then every time you swipe your card, everything is coming out of that one account. And do you really know? Do you really have a top of mind awareness on your dates when those things are hitting? What's actually happening in your account? Most of us don't. And that's why we end up in these chaotic situations. Then we blame the auto pay. We blame the subscription. We blame when that deduction happens in our account, when really the responsibility lies on us as a steward to understand how much resources we have, what have we already committed to, and what is the purpose of how we manage the money in these accounts. I introduced the 7 account framework to you yesterday, but today we're going to dive deeper and we're going to really hone in on the one account that if you don't execute all 7 of them, this one account will completely change your financial life. So here it is. This is the 7 account framework. As the young people say, I haven't been gatekeeping at all during this webinar. I've been pushing all the information right to the front because I want to empower you. I want to be able to serve you in a really unique way and add as much value as I can. So here it is. We should have our income comes in. Account number 1 is our giving account. I know that says income. That's actually our giving account. Account number 2, we talked about that, the opportunity fund. 3 is operations, and that's where I'm going to stop the wheel. We're going to focus on the operating account today. We talked about the 10-10-80 process, that framework. 10% goes to giving, 10% goes to saving, and then we live off the 80%. That's how we built our spending plan. I gave you all the template. And so you're able to build out your spending plan yesterday. But now that you have your plan, you need the operating system to help you execute the plan. So what is this thing designed to do? And how do I do it? Well, let's just break it down into a few simple steps. Step 1, we have to have an account to use. You can choose an existing checking account that you may have, but what we're going to do is designate it only for our household operations. If you have multiple accounts, just pick one. If you are up on the call here and said, Lionel, I just deal in cash. I don't have any accounts. Well, I'll urge you to at least open one checking account. Let's get your household set up. So, what are you going to do? You're going to use this exclusively for households, right? And the balance is going to actually reflect what you need to operate your household. So, just this one account, and it's only going to have one purpose. It's not going to be our lifestyle. We're not going to spend every time we swipe out of that account. If so, you'll need a separate account, the lifestyle account. That's account number 5. So if you need more information, again, we'll continue to give it to you. We can continue this conversation. Uh, I will show you how at the end we can continue our conversation and relationship, and we can serve you in a more direct, hands-on, and even a one-on-one way if that's something that you desire. So, first things first, one account with one purpose: operating and managing our household. The most critical things we need, the things we need to stay alive. So, let's take a look at what that is. What should come out of this account? What shouldn't come out of this account? So, rent, mortgage, utilities, groceries, your transportation, your car payment, your insurance premiums, phone and internet communication. Now, essential subscriptions. I'm not talking about Hulu, Amazon Prime, and all those. Those are not essential. If you have subscriptions for your internet, if you have subscriptions for any sort of maintenance warranties, that should go in a separate account. But the essential subscriptions you have related usually to utilities, those are the ones that we're going to keep in place. All right. Now, over here to the right, these are the things we don't want commingled. I used that term yesterday and the day before. Many of you probably haven't heard that term. It's a financial term for when you have money that's designated for different purposes, all kind of mixed together, homogenized together into one account. That's commingling. We use it a lot in a business term. People say if you have a business account and a personal account, don't commingle the funds. But commingling also has to do with our personal accounts. You should have separate accounts for the separate purposes of what you're trying to do in your financial life. You're investing, maintaining the assets that you have, your lifestyle, your giving, your savings, all of your debt repayment. Those should be out of separate accounts, not one checking account. That's where we, again, in the previous slide, create that chaos. What we're trying to do is create clarity. So that right side there, if you want to grab a screenshot of that, those are the things you do not want coming out of your operating account. Step 2, you have to map every reoccurring bill. I know it sounds like a lot of work. It typically is not if you're just focused on the necessities, if you're just focused on what keeps your household running: your rent, your mortgage, electric, your water, your internet, your utilities, your communication, your transportation costs, though your food costs. Those are your necessities, right? So you just want to focus on those. You want to make sure anything that's reoccurring is written down in a reoccurring section, right? That's your rent, your utilities, all those things. You want to make sure you write out the name of the bill, what the amount is, when it's due, and if or not you have it on auto pay. And we have some templates we can support you with for this. Now, you want to either go through all of your bank statements, through any banking accounts that you use or apps, and you want to make sure that you have total visibility on everything that you need to run your household, all your critical expenses. Here's what it should look like. It should simply be a list. Got my mortgage, it's this amount, it's paid on the first, it's set to auto pay. My electric bill comes out on the 9th. Here's the amount set to auto pay. You also want to identify whatever you don't have automated. So in this case, my internet's not automated. That's got the little red X in it. That's something I need to adjust later in the process. But at first, you're doing an audit, you're doing an assessment. What are the bills? What are the amounts? When are they due? And are they currently on auto pay? Those four bits are so crucially important because this is what we're going to use to actually create third part, step three. Let's do it. Now, step three. This is the alignment. This is so profound, but yet so simple. When I show this and teach this to people, they're like, I never thought about this in this way. This is why those overdrafts, this is why that imbalance happens in your financial life. We're looking to balance out 2 cycles every 30 days. Cycle number one, as you look down that list, I want you to identify and put a little one next to every single bill that's due between the first of the month and the midway point, the 15th of the month. So between now and the next 4 days, any bill that's due should be written on the list with a little number one next to it. Then for cycle two, we want to look at anything that's due in the second half of the month from the 15th to the 30th. Once you have those two cycles or those two lists of the expenses that you're paying and when you're paying them, then you want to total them. This is the clarity moment. The minute you set up that total, if you see that the first of the 15th, you have this huge number, and those of us who are homeowners, our mortgage is probably the biggest bill we pay. So it tends to put a little more weight on the first to the 15th. If there's significant imbalance, here's what I want you to do. We're going to use a variance of about $200 to $500. I know I said between 2 and 300, but 2 to 500 is a good variance depending on your income. If you need that margin or that variance to be smaller, adjust it for your own situation. So all you're going to do then, make sure you have your two totals, compare your totals. If they're not balanced, if they're way off, that first cycle is a huge number and the second cycle is a smaller number, here's what we're going to do. We're going to contact our vendors, our utility providers, any of those subscriptions. Here's the script I want you to use. I'll role play it for you. Let's say, for instance, my electric bill is coming out on the 10th or the 9th, like we saw in that last slide. I'll use my California property as an example because that's like the most expensive electric bill that I have out of all the properties that we own. So that one, my electric bill is never less than $500. Sometimes in the wintertime when we run the heater, because the California Bay Area is kind of a cool place. It doesn't need AC. That property doesn't have it. But the on a yearly cycle, that electric bill goes from like $550 up to like $750. It's a significant number. So let's just say this was completely throwing off my balance and I need to really push that electric bill to the second half so I have a little bit of balance between my two cycles. Simply going to call them. The companies out west are PG&E, Pacific Gas and Electric. So let's role play that real quickly. I'm going to call them. Hi, I'm Lionel. Here's my account number. I'm working on trying to balance my billing cycles to manage my household budget more effectively. I'd like to request moving my due date from the current date, which is the 9th, to, let's say, if I could get it between the 16th and the 24th on my second pay period. Is that something that you're able to help me with? Most utility companies, most vendors, they want to get paid. So they're going to say yes. There may be a small billing adjustment for what they call their prorations. That's the daily amount that they're charging you. There may be a small adjustment to that on your very first bill or your second bill, but usually you can accommodate that. But what that allows you to do now is have this balance. If you're a person that's paid every 2 weeks or once a month, you can adjust this accordingly. But most people get paid every 2 weeks, or if you get paid weekly, this helps you out because all of your money isn't wiped out by cycle one, and then you're trying to play catch up in cycle two. That's what I see most people, most Americans that I'm interfacing with and trying to help out. That's where I see they have a big struggle. The first of the month, all these bills come in, all their money goes out, and then they're getting overdrafts and different things hitting in that first week and a half of the month. And then the second week of the month or second half of the month, they're playing catch up. And maybe they took a payday loan or something like that that really bogs them down. And now they're really pulling away from that second half and they're just playing catch up. And then month after month after month, this catch up thing just puts you in a really, really negative financial cycle. So that's what we're looking to break is that cycle. All right. So let's just recap what this alignment looks like. Paycheck one, that's going to fund your cycle one. That's why I took so much time in trying to explain why you want to balance these things out. Your second paycheck, again, in this scenario, I'm getting paid every 2 weeks. That's going to fund my second cycle. This is why we want the balance because usually your pay is about the same. So we want to make sure our expenses are balanced. So I just talked about no more feast to famine. Beginning of the month, all my money's gone. I need to wait 2 weeks to catch up again. Or, God forbid, I'm taking out payday loans or other short term, really expensive loans trying to make ends meet. No more. I just had that money last week. What happened to it? You're now learning and knowing and being aware of the cycles that's happening in your financial life. Those cycles are already there. You probably just aren't really aware of the cycles and have them documented the way I'm trying to show you to do it today. No more guessing. You don't have to assume, do I have enough money to buy lunch today? Let me go in and check my account. It's already in there. You already know. You have a clear assignment on what's paying for what, and every paycheck now has a purpose. You now have an assigned set of funds that's going into that operating account every paycheck, and it's enough to cover those balances. All right. So here's the fourth part, the part that scares everyone, the automation part, right? So every single bill, you want to go back to that list and now make sure they're automated. But of course, you've now already funded your account. So maybe that's the step I kind of left out here. You want to make sure once you know what those totals are, you've funded the account and you've put a little extra bonus in there just to cover any variances to your account. So let's say you balanced it out and your expenses are like 1800 in cycle 1 and 1750 in cycle 2. If you can fund 1900 or $2000 into that account to cover cycle 1 and do the same thing for cycle 2, the little bit of extra you leave in there, that'll compound over time and you can begin to make decisions on what other account you want to transfer that extra money to. If you want to transfer it to your savings opportunity account, maybe put it in one of your investing accounts if you're on Webull or Acorns or any of the other investing platforms, you can do so. So the key here is just to summarize it, you've done the math on what you need to live every month. You've evenly divided that. You've adjusted your billing cycles to compensate for that. And then you fund the checking account with the amount to cover each of those two cycles. So just to go back a slide, you want to make sure the funds are available for cycle 1. And then when you get paid the second time, the funds are available for cycle 2. So I slowed down just for a second because that's really pivotal to make sure you're not getting any overdraft fees, you're not missing any payments, and your plan is sound. All right. So this is the foundation. Once your bills are organized, once that billing cycle is automated and balanced, your operating account then becomes predictable and it's like clockwork. And it's a system that's very easy to manage. It won't require a ton of oversight. You just have to pop in there once a month, twice a month, make sure the expected amounts were withdrawn on the expected days that you documented and there were no variances. But if you include that extra little margin in there, even if a bill went up a little bit because you used a little bit more or the timing was off, you're still covered. You won't have an overdraft fee. But the key here is that you're not commingling that checking account with your spending. your flexible spending, that should be coming out of your lifestyle account. That should be a different debit card that you're using for those expenses. So that's really where we get tripped up. All of our bills, all of our household operations, and then all of our expendable spending are usually in one account. We want to break that link. So, what will you have if you're able to execute what we just talked about? Your operating account will be defined, fully designated. Your bills will be sorted into two even cycles. You'll know what they are when they hit. Your funding will now be aligned to every cycle and tied to your paycheck. So that way, every bill is set on auto pay comfortably without anxiety, without worry. You got a little bit of buffer in there to help you in case there's any variance to any bills, or like now when gas prices just shoot up, you're spending a little bit more to travel and get around. That little bit of buffer in there that takes care of that. And you basically got a new word on your journey, right? Balance, structure, right? You're not just guessing, you're actually building the foundation. Your foundation's in place, your household is taken care of. Now you can free up your mind and your consciousness to begin looking at the other areas of your financial life and building those out. This is why many of us never get to the point where we're able to invest, because our financial house is so in disarray, so out of order that we're always playing catch up. We can never balance things out. We never have clarity so we can do research, educate ourselves around investments, and then actually have the funds allocated to do so. The entire 7 account framework, it will help you with that. So here's what I want you to do. Here's your exercise. So you can do this while we continue to present, or pick that account, map your bills on a sheet. If you want a template, sort your bills into 2 cycles. Make sure you know what's on automation. If it's not on automation, make sure you get it on auto pay. You want this thing to work like clockwork, whether you're looking at it or not. And then identify what bills in those cycles need to be adjusted and moved over to another cycle. Contact your vendors, move your billing dates, get balance. Please, 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 if you do nothing else, take action on this week. Get this installed in your system. I can guarantee you your level of anxiety, your level of worry. If you're in a relationship, the discourse that happens in a relationship, all of that begins to quiet down because you have a system, it's automated, and whether you're paying attention or not, it's functioning efficiently. That's the key. This is what's changed in my life. I'm not going to lie to you. Wasn't able to build my wealth until I had this in place. I did not have financial clarity until this is in place. Once my household wasn't a worry for me, once I wasn't looking at my mortgage and my bills and all of that every single month, stressing about it, a whole different part of my brain was able to start working on building strategies, educating myself about different types of investments, and then actually making a plan to engage with all of them. So I can't stress this enough. Again, if there was one lesson I could teach everyone in America today, it would be how to set up their operating account. Okay, there's your checklist. If you want a copy of this, you can grab a screenshot. Again, we can get some more resources to you. I won't be too redundant. We went over this several times now, but these are the steps. So again, the before, overdrafts, stress about the bills, a bit chaotic when things are landing and things are being paid out. I don't have clarity over what's happening in that one checking account I have. But if you begin to break this thing out into several different accounts, give each account a purpose, get your operating account set up first. If you don't have a savings account, you don't have your giving account set up, it will be hard to get those in place if your household is still a stress point for you. So even though it's account number 3, typically when I'm working with clients, it's the very first account we get set up, we get automated, we get it working. Again, I talked about all the benefits. clarity, control, confidence in yourself and in your finances, and ultimately peace of mind. That's what we're trying to get to. Congratulations, you made it. If you were with me all 3 days, you first got the mindset. We talked about having that lens that we should be looking at our finances. That lens was God owns everything. We are just managers. Put on your management hat. Let go of that emotion of ownership. That's what's been holding you back. That's what's been actually enabling you in making poor financial decisions because you said to yourself, it's mine. I can do what I want with it. I can enjoy it when I want to enjoy it. And typically it flips and it's not yours. It has control over you. And then those poor decisions begin to compound. And over time, they just turn into the stressful situation, a cycle that you feel like you can't get out of. But we want to help you bridge the gap and move over by having the right mindset, having an actual spending plan. We talked about the different categories that you should have set up and how the percentages for each category is critical. That's what we talked about yesterday, going through our financial percentages. And finally, making sure you have an OS, an operating system that is taking care of your core expenses and the level of stress and attention that you're putting right now to those things can go away and you can begin crossing that bridge into a place that has a little more clarity and gives you options for your future ultimately. The real challenge is information is one thing. I could sit here, I could talk to you guys for hours and for days about how to do this. But what most people lack, they lack the accountability, someone to come alongside them and not look down on them, not shame them, not embarrass them, but understand where they've been. If you were with me on, I talked about it. When I moved to California, I had $300 in my pocket and a 380 credit score. And I was able over the next 20 years to build that to over $1 million net worth, to have a real estate portfolio that spans 4 states. And really, it starts with these systems and the structures that I'm sharing with you today. Consistency, that's another thing. We go live every week. We have sessions every single week just to keep you consistent, keep sharing information, keep sharing systems and strategies, and consistently checking in, staying on top of those. Those are really what will help you break free. A community is awesome. If you're trying to do this alone, your emotions may get the best of you at some points when you're trying to put that budget together, when you're trying to get that plan together. But if you're doing that in a community of like minded individuals who can support you, who can encourage you, that changes everything. That's what I've found in my own life, in any environment where I was trying to change. If it was my health journey, I'm part of a workout team. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5:30 a.m., collection of men, we get together, we work out as a group. That's how we stay consistent. You, in your faith journey, you belong to a church maybe or a ministry, that collection of people, that community, that's what's kept you grounded and kept you through the ups and downs and the turbulent situations, grief and different distress situations you've been in. That community probably helped encourage you and keep you consistent. So, and then most of all, you need a plan for implementation, much like what we shared today. So, what happens next? After you leave this webinar, you can continue on the path all by yourself. You can take the information you learned today, apply what you can apply, and then anything you missed, you just missed it. Or there's a second option, the one we're presenting to you today. You can join us. Join the Minding Our Business Academy, where you have support, there's coaching, there's community, there's a proven structure that we vetted. It's nothing new. We're pulling this from biblical financial truths. And then you yourself can have clarity on this road that you're traveling on towards your own financial independence, towards your own financial stewardship, right? If you're building wealth, all of those are places and destinations that we will come alongside you and support you through. So, you're probably saying, if this is your first time engaging with the Minding Our Business Academy, you're probably saying, it's got a weird name. What's the mob about, right? Well, it's the Minding Our Business Academy. And that name really comes from what I found is that a lot of times we're looking externally. I talked about this on our Wednesday night live when we were dealing with greed and covetousness. We're looking around at social media, we're looking around at other people, and often that's what leads us to mistakes. Someone gets a new car, we want a new car. Someone gets a bigger house, we feel incontent with the one that we have. And that's really what's been holding us back as a society and community. They said social media was bringing us together. I found it actually has pulled us apart and actually put us in a space where we're always comparing ourselves to someone else. And that's why we named it the community Minding Our Business. We're really just trying to put those horse blinders on and get back to nuts and bolts with what is important to me. What should I be focused on? And then instead of it being just about me, it's about the community. Together, we're focusing on what is important to us and minding our own business. And so we're here to help you build systems, eliminate financial stress, increase that margin. Margin is the space in between your expenses and your income. Grow your generosity so you can impact and support the ministries, the initiatives, the charities that are meaningful to you. And ultimately, we go into investing and a lot of different spaces because multiplication is important. That's actually the chief command. If you go back to um, Genesis, the Lord commanded us to be fruitful and multiply. That is not just about having children, that's about multiplying our wealth, multiplying our impact. All those things are very important. So, in the stewardship journey, so please, this is an invitation for you to join us. Now, who is this for? If you're a high income earner, I've been there. I've managed a household where we were making hundreds of thousands of dollars every single month. And we found a way to live below that margin and really find a way to put our kids through college, invest in real estate, invest in precious metals, invest in the stock market. We're able to do all those things. So, those are the systems that we want to share with you. Who is this not for? This is not a get rich quick type of thing. We're not talking about schemes. We're not talking about the current play to make money. That's not what we're about. This is not for people who want to sit back and say, I'll just sit, hear the information, but maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. That's not who we're looking for. We're looking for people who want to build their financial life, who want to take control of their finances and call themselves a faithful steward. We're not looking for the type of people who will just make excuses. It's the economy, it's the president, it's the right? Fill in the blank. We all struggle with different areas. We all have challenges, but those excuses do not move us forward. Those excuses do not allow us to take control, regain the power and authority that we have in our own lives. And that's what I want for you. So you're probably saying, how much does this cost? How do I get engaged? We have made this affordable for any budget. It's cheaper than a meal at most places for two people. Nowadays, it's hard to feed two people, even for lunch, for less than 50 bucks. So we've used that as a starting point and actually come under that. You can see from this slide, these are the things that you'll have access to: weekly coaching calls, accountability calls, the templates of all the systems that we're implementing today, financial trackers. We want to push all of that out to you. So if this sounds like it resonates with you, If you can see some alignment in what we're teaching and how we're teaching it, then we encourage you to join us. And $47 is a great starting place. But some of you are saying, my situation is a little more complex. I make a couple $100,000 a year. I've got this responsibility, that responsibility. I want to build this out. I need someone who's really going to take a look at my unique situation and be a thought partner with me and help me work this out. Well, if that's you, we have a tier for people like you. It costs a little bit more, but what you get is significantly more. First of all, you're getting direct access to myself. We will meet, we'll have a one on one consultation, we'll do a full financial audit. We'll go through your finances, we'll find out where the leaks are, we'll build your spending plan together. I will help you build out your 7 accounts for you and get those set up, get the automations in place, help you to understand the purpose of each account and how to use it effectively. You'll still have all of the weekly coaching calls, but then you'll have a private one on one session with me every single month where I can look at where are you going, what are the goals you set for yourself, and really hold you accountable to those goals. We'll go deep into real estate investing. I have had over 10 short term rentals, like I said, across various US markets. If that's something you want to get into, short term, mid-term rentals, long-term rentals, precious metals. We talk about all different types of investing within the community and ways to grow and multiply your wealth. If you're on the call and you're just in financial dire straits right now and you can't afford $47 a month, much less $297 a month, well, don't jump off the call. Don't be afraid. We still have something for you. There is a free community available. It doesn't have all the same access as the other tiers, but at least if you're getting started, you're just trying to get the basics in place. This is what we've done. We've built this out really to serve you. It is not a chintzy community. It is not devoid of valuable content. There's 9 impactful lessons in there. We take you through the spending plan. We take you through the operating account. We take you through how to get the right mindset. We get your foundation in place. There's maybe not all of some of the other things with getting the entire system set up or getting it custom tailored to you. If you're the kind of person who can take the information, come to the weekly calls, and begin to implement this in your life, then this is a great option for you. We are going to drop the link in the chat for you. But also, if you're available, if you're on a computer, you can scan the QR code here. If you want to grab a screenshot of this slide, we are hosted on the school community. It's Minding Our Business on the school community. That's where we house all of our lessons. That's where we go in to meet every single week. You can get an app on your phone that you can engage with if you want to listen to the lessons while you're driving or heading into work. You can do it that way. If you're a person that just wants to sit down in your office and get it done, you can do it on the online platform as well. It's really modular, really accessible, and it's the way that we want to make ourselves available to all of you. Bring you a ton of value, bring you something that you can implement in your life right now. But we also want to extend the invitation of joining the community, getting access to coaching, and getting yourself in a place where you can build your financial stewardship and begin to build your wealth journey. As Christians, be relying on that. We should be great stewards of the blessings that we have and begin to create our own opportunities, begin to create our own future. So thank you so much, those of you who've stayed with us today. I appreciate you all. Any way we can serve you. Again, we've tried to price this in a way affordable, but yet brings a lot of value to you. So for anyone who would like to take the next step, we're inviting you. We appreciate you for even considering us, and we want to do our absolute level best to serve you, to bring you good, sound information, wise counsel, but not just that, the tools that you need to implement, right? Giving is always first, saving is second, and then our lifestyle, that thing that most of us have in that first priority, that is the trap, right? Your lifestyle should not be where all your money's going. You should be able to impact others, impact yourself and your future, and then live comfortably off the rest. That's what we're hoping to help all of you with. Thank you so much for sitting with us for the past hour. We appreciate you. And if we can serve you, join the Minding Our Business community today. Thank you all. Have a great rest of your day, and God be with you.